And welcome back to the Deadpool video game, ladies and gentlemen. We're still in the prison level. Now, we had this, oh god, I guess, I guess you would call it a mind fuck, as it were.
One of Deadpool's schizophrenic attacks.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, at one earlier point, Blockbuster, basically, kidnapped, Rogue. So now here we are, still in the prison, chasing down Blockbuster in order to save Rogue. Now, this kind of goes back to, I'm fairly certain I brought this up, like, earlier in the playthrough. I do not recall which part, but it's like, to me, this is like another one of those cases where it's like, yeah, they're trying to make up for the time of the plot by dragging on the levels, like, for a very long period of time, and the prison level is no exception. Because
it's major filler.
I
guess if you want to call it that. It
has that bad habit that a lot of games do, where they think that a game's time span is more important than the actual quality of the game itself. So they'll either make parts that drag or make parts that are really hard. Where in this case it's just dragging, as a way to expand the game's length.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. Well, here, I mean, it just looks like, yeah, this is just one of those instances where it's like, let's just keep throwing, wave after wave of enemies, and it's like, I can appreciate, cleaving through waves of enemies and stuff, but when it just keeps going on and on and on like that, it's like, unless this is like, Overwatch Uprising or Man vs. Machine or something, where that's the entire point of it, it's like, okay, come on, just let me breathe.
I feel like the illusion would be a little less strenuous if they were hallway mooks instead of a single room mook, where you were actually making progress in the level while killing these enemies, moving forward, instead of being stuck in one room, getting taking care of a bunch of enemies that keep coming into the room at once.
Yeah.
That kind of begs the question: why can't you just ignore them? They're opening the door. Why can't you just sneak in when they open the door?
Yeah, but oh no, that's the beauty of certain beat-em-ups or whatever. It's like, you could probably, like, just burst through this reinforced door or whatever, but it's like, oh no, you can't just simply just open the door or whatever. No, it's like, these mooks are the key to progressing through the level.
Well, if they're gonna do things like this, because, like, I know there are games like, what was the game called that Hagar was in?
Hagar?
That is actually a really good question, because unfortunately the only time, wait, you're talking about the one big guy from Marvel vs. Capcom 3, right?
City. Yeah, he's in Marvel vs. Capcom.
Okay.
The game that he's in, like, they handle it, that's clearly a beat 'em up game, but they handle it a little better, where there are parts where you can't progress until you kill a certain amount of enemies, but they set it up in a way so that it's so few enemies. Like, you kill maybe 3 or 4 enemies, and then you move towards the next section of the screen, do the same thing, and then you continue that. Like, it's so few enemies that they're technically halting your progress, but it doesn't take so much time that you really don't realizing it, and you're technically still moving through the level as you do so.
Yeah, thinking about it now, I think the same thing could also be said with, I don't know if this applies to the third game in this series, but I do know this also applies with, like, oh man, okay, I completely forgot what this particular game mode was, but in Tekken 4, when you select one character, and you're going through this, I guess, this other story mode, as it were, that it's like, it requires you to, like, not only go through all these linear, like, pathways that, like, throughout these levels or whatever, but also these mooks pop up, but it's like, yeah, it's not like they're, like, constantly, like, impeding your progress or whatnot. You can't still knock them out, while you're on the move.
Right, and also
depending on the situation.
Right, and also the name of the game that Hagar from is Final Fight.
Final Fight. Oh, okay. It's actually kind of sad. It's like I remember it's like back when I first found out about Hagar in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It's like, considering how very little knowledge that I've had of other like Capcom games, my first instinct was, oh hey, I guess Hagar's another Street Fighter character, right? But it's like, no.
I mean, you wouldn't be off, considering that Capcom games do kind of have a habit of kind of prioritizing their Street Fighter characters in those kinds of games.
Yeah.
Though it looks like they're kind of moving away from that habit in Infinite, because...
Well, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's like, if that's like your big money maker and everything, I mean, that's like, can you really blame them for? I mean, that's like, yeah, can we blame Nintendo for prioritizing like Mario and Zelda, or Sega prioritizing Sonic?
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I completely understand that. But like, yeah, Super Smash Bros. Kind of has the same problem though, because it's like, if like it's not really a problem per se, but like if you have newcomers who really don't know any of these characters except for maybe Mario, they're not going to know what characters are from Mario and which ones aren't. Especially the more cartoony looking ones.
It's like, oh, I remember running into Star Fox in the Mushroom Kingdom. Wait.
You're Bayonetta.
God.
Yeah, Bayonetta in the Mushroom Kingdom.
That being said, Brandon, please bring Bayonetta back. Please.
It's one of those things where it's like the Marvel side of Marvel vs. Capcom is kind of able to get away with it a little better, because technically all those characters are in the same universe, whereas the Capcom characters, they're technically a bunch of different universes. Which is why I find the concept of Marvel vs. Capcom a little bit weird. Because it's like, they're implementing this idea that, oh, it's the Capcom world and the Marvel world blending together. Except the Capcom world isn't really one world, it's a bunch of different worlds.
Okay.
Whereas the Marvel universe canonically is one giant world. They're all in the same universe.
Wrecked him. Darn near killed him. Wrecked him? Darn near killed him.
Wolverine.
Suspension of disbelief.
I'm not gonna lie. It's like, no, I can appreciate like the antics Deadpool has here and there, but even ever since the first time I played this game, I'm just sitting here scratching my head, going, wait, am I missing something with that?
It's his schizophrenia as well. It is like
it's like that whole sitcom thing is just, there's no point to that. But I mean, I will admit, seeing like Wolverine just sitting there giving like the polite little clap, it's like that made me chuckle.
Yeah, that was actually pretty funny with Wolverine in the background.
Yeah, he even had like the adamantium claws out and everything, so it's like, wow.
Just clapping with his adamantium claws.
To be fair, I kind of do. I kind of understand why they were like. I get it's all obviously for the joke. There's no reason to dissect it, but I will anyway because it's me. But it's one of those things where it's like, it's a lot of those jokes. Are kind of told because it's Deadpool having kind of a schizophrenic attack, because, as I said multiple times, he is a schizophrenic.
Yeah.
And most schizophrenics, it's their mind playing tricks on them, but there is still an element where if you actually see somebody in a schizophrenic attack, you're generally going to see them in a way that you most recognize them as. And how do people, especially Deadpool, recognize Wolverine in that outfit with the claws out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think, especially since I don't think Deadpool and Wolverine really hang out casually. I don't think Wolverine would ever want to. So more than likely, the only times Deadpool would see Wolverine is in the midst of action, where Wolverine's wearing his costume while his claws are out. So that would only make sense.
Right, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said earlier in the playthrough, it's like I don't mind. It's like I do not mind the relationship between both Deadpool and Wolverine, but it's like, if anything, I agree. If anything, I could imagine like if I do not see them like just casually hanging out or whatever. Yeah, just more so like in the middle of battle or whatever. Like
if someone like Rogue or like Kitty Pryde, who actually know Logan on a more intimate level, and actually see him as like a father figure or a brother figure or whatever. Like if they were to have a schizophrenic attack, they'd probably actually see him just more casually as opposed to in that battle armor. Especially since they actually live with the guy and such, but
Yeah.
That's kind of sad. No one ever really talks about, the relationship between Wolverine and Kitty Pryde. Then again, Kitty Pryde is kind of an underutilized character. And like Danny, do you even know who Kitty Pryde is?
No, I mean, I've heard the name, I know the design of the character, but as for who she is, no.
Well, I mean, do you know who I'm talking about? I should have asked.
No.
Okay, yeah, she's the X-Men who is able to phase through walls and such.
Okay.
But yeah, like Wolverine and Kitty Pryde do actually have a very genuine like father-daughter relationship. Like there's even a line I remember from this comic strip that I saw once where like someone was interviewing a bunch of people that Wolverine know, and we're asking how they would describe Wolverine. And, they all gave, like, their own personal opinions about him. But Kitty Pryde specifically said along the lines of, she said, I don't think I'll ever get married because every man that I date, I won't be able to compare, I won't be able to do anything except for compare to Logan. And there's no way in hell anyone's going to live up to his standards. So, yeah, like, she effectively, even though she's actually dating Colossus, but she straight up said she doesn't think she'd be able to marry anyone unless they can live up to the standards that she's set, thanks to Wolverine, which in her opinion is pretty damn high.
Okay.
I said I'm kind of curious that they. You know what? Come to think of it, has Kitty Pryde ever showed up in an X-Men movie? Because she was kind of one of those. She's a pretty important X-Men character who's been kind of. I don't think she has.
It's kind of sad for me to admit this, but it's like, I mean, unless if I've already said this earlier in the playthrough, if I have, then okay, my bad. But, yeah, unfortunately, I've only seen snippets of like some of like the earlier X-Men movies. I have not seen any of them like all the way through.
Well, neither have I. But like, it's one of those things where it's like, if she hasn't, that makes me kind of surprised that they wouldn't include her in the Deadpool movie then. Especially since they included Colossus, who, like I said, like Kitty Pryde and Colossus are lovers. So you'd think that since if no one's ever used Kitty Pryde before, you'd think that they'd that whoever made the Deadpool movie would take that opportunity to have the both of them together.
Right. Well, I guess in a way, technically, Deadpool 2 is still in development, and even then, they've been rolling out like a couple of like new character announcements. Like at one point, they already revealed like who they're gonna use as Cable, or who's gonna be playing as Domino. So I was like, who knows? Maybe if we're lucky enough, maybe she'll end up making it into the cast. Yeah, it's still kind of hard to say because it's like because I'm only saying this because you brought up that she's like a undermined character or whatnot, but
it's weird because like she's a pretty important character in the X-Men canon. In fact, she's like one of the main. She's like a part of the main thing. Well, then again, I don't think she. Come to think of it, actually, I don't think she was in that original cartoon. I know she was in that. She was in that more recent one. Well, not more recent. It was like a 2000s one.
You know what? I think I may know which one you're talking about.
What was that X-Men cartoon called? I completely forgot. It was like it showcased like all the X-Men as like teenagers.
Oh.
Except for Wolverine. Like Wolverine was like one of the few exceptions. Like he was still his age. I mean, it's pretty hard to depict Wolverine as a teenager when the guy is literally like over 100 years old.
I'm ready to start another day in my new high school, bub.
I fought in World War II, dude. How many wars has Wolverine fought in? I think he fought in both World Wars as well as like the Vietnam War. Now that I think about it, yeah.
It's like
I've seen.
At this
Yeah,
rate, he's been in all.
I've seen some really, really cruel things, man.
It's like, at this rate, he's been in all the wars.
Ooh, shiny.
Oh man.
Of course, now I guess this begs the question. All right, how much longer until we get Deadpool and Wolverine on screen together?
Jeez.
I mean, that's like, you know it's coming. It's gonna have to at some point.
Yeah, it's like at one earlier point, I was hoping that they would, get Hugh Jackman to play as Wolverine, like for Deadpool 2. But then the news came around of him resigning of his role as Wolverine, and I'm just like, oh, well.
Right. I mean, it's like
now at this point, it's easier said than done.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure some people would want to see, like, like Wolverine and Deadpool, like, actually, like, either fighting each other or teaming up or whatever. But I would honestly be happy, even if it's just like a random goofball cameo or something. Like,
The last time they showed Wolverine and Deadpool fighting, like, everyone hated it. But that was for an entirely different reason, though.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, now we have good people behind Deadpool movies, so, all hope isn't quite lost. But, but it's like, even if you did, like, a weird, like, goofball thing or something, like a goofball cameo, I think it's like, what was it, the second Thor movie or something, I think? Like, they had Captain America come in as, like, they had him in as, like, a very, very brief cameo, and even then, it wasn't even the real Captain America. But it was still, like, a brief, goofy little cameo and everything. Like, even that, I think, could work well in a Deadpool movie. Just, like, a, brief, stupid cameo with Wolverine, even if it's just him, like, bitch-smacking him around.
Well, they gotta get the rights to him first, obviously. Like, that's why I suggested Kitty Pryde, and I was asking, like, if she appeared in any of the movies, because if not, then that means that they don't have her rights, and that means that way they can easily, get her in, even as like a cameo or whatever. But Wolverine, for way obvious reasons, would be a lot more difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was why they used Colossus, and what was the other girl's name? Like, the girl who I literally never heard of until that movie. But like, neither of them showed up in any prior X-Men movies, so it was easier to be able to use them.
Yeah, right. That is true. Yeah. Oh yeah, that'll do it for this part of Deadpool, ladies and gentlemen. So join us next time as we progress further into the prison in hopes of finding Blockbuster and saving Rogue. We will see you guys then.